Hey, SciDiDad here. Welcome back to the channel. Did you know that right now, as you're watching this video, trillions of microscopic organisms are living inside your body, making decisions that could basically determine whether you feel energized or exhausted, happy or depressed, healthy or sick? And what if I told you that these tiny little inhabitants might actually be controlling more of your life than you realize? And that understanding them could be the key to transforming your health. Welcome to the fascinating world of your microbiome. It's an invisible ecosystem that has been quietly orchestrating your well-being pretty much for your entire life. And today, we're going to dive deep into this microbial universe that's living within you. And I want to explore some lifestyle choices that can directly impact these microscopic partners. And most importantly, give you some actionable strategies and specific foods that you can start eating today to help optimize this crucial system. Let's start off with the mind-blowing fact that you're actually more bacteria than human. You heard that right. In terms of sheer numbers, the microbial cells in your body outnumber your human cells by a significant margin. Your microbiome consists of approximately 100 trillion microorganisms, and it includes things like bacteria, viruses, fungi, other microbes, and they primarily reside in your gut, but they're also throughout your entire body, like on your skin and in your mouth. And you got to think of your microbiome as a bustling metropolis with different neighborhoods, if you will. Your intestinal tract houses the majority of these residents, but you'll also find district microbial communities, like I said, on your skin. You're also going to see them in your mouth and your nose, and virtually every other surface of your body that comes in contact with the outside world. Now, you could do a whole nother video on that, which is called the holobiome. Today, going to be more focused on the microbiome, as some people also refer to it as the biome, which is literally within your digestive tract. And each location actually has specialized inhabitants that are really perfectly adapted, I'd say, to their specific environment. But as we focus on the microbiome, here's what makes this so important. In functional nutrition, we have this saying that all health begins in the gut. I think it was Socrates that said all disease begins in the gut, right? It's so true because the microbiome influences your digestion, your nutrient absorption, your immune system. Actually, some say between 70 to 90% of your immune system lives literally in and around your gut. Your brain function and mood, it's also called your gut is also called the second brain. It's also called the gut-brain connection via the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve in the body. Your hormone balance impacts, and even your risk for chronic diseases. So your microbiome isn't just living inside of you, it's communicating with every system in your body. And as we say in functional nutrition, you are not what you eat, but what your body can actually do with what you eat. And your microbiome is the key player in that equation. So what are these hundreds of different bacteria species? That's bacteria and yeasts and viruses and microorganisms. So they're not all created equal, right? As I break them down, you have the good guys, which I'll say these are beneficial bacteria. They help you break down food, produce vitamins, they protect against harmful pathogens, they strengthen your intestinal barrier, they regulate inflammation, they support immune function. Some of these star players include, and I'm going to butcher these names, but it's like Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, and there's a few others in that strain. And then there's the not so good guys. This is like harmful bacteria. This is certain strains of E. coli, Candida yeast, or other parasites. They overgrow and problems arise. And this is an imbalance called dysbiosis. The key to keeping these in balance is it's about diversity and balance, right? So the healthy microbiome has many different species that work together, and when that balance is disrupted, this is what ends up happening. You have symptoms like bloating and gas and food sensitivities and brain fog and skin issues, and a weakened immunity system if you're always getting sick more often. Also, there's more chronic diseases, things like autoimmune conditions or even autism, right? It has links specifically to diet. So your beneficial bacteria, they need the right fuel to thrive. And this is where functional health and nutrition comes in, because you can feed the good bacteria, and you could do that by eating fiber-rich foods, right? Your good bacteria love fiber. It's kind of like their favorite meal. And this is things like vegetables of all colors, different fruits, especially berries, beans and legumes, as long as they're pressure cooked, right? And you're removing the lectins that actually could destroy the gut wall. Fermented foods are awesome, right? So these deliver beneficial bacteria to your gut. So sauerkraut, things like kimchi, although with store-bought kimchi, you just gotta watch the sugar levels because they have added sugar, some of them, so try to get them without. Different kinds of yogurts, right? So if you don't have a dairy sensitivity, you can do A2 yogurt, and actually I'll share my A2 yogurt recipe at the link below the video for free. You could do coconut yogurt, you could do kefir, naturally fermented pickles are good. You actually could do real sourdough bread, right? And maybe I'll share that at some point with y'all, the recipe for sourdough bread, but you got to use the right type of wheat, which is like a non-hybridized wheat or a gluten-free variety wheat. And a non-hybridized wheat is something like einkorn flour, right? For example, you want prebiotic foods. So these feed your good bacteria. So things like specifically asparagus, garlic, onions, Jerusalem artichokes, and slightly green bananas actually have a lot of prebiotics in them. And then you want to also add in some omega-3 fatty acids. So think of these things reduce inflammation and they support gut health. So you could get that from like wild caught fatty fish, flax seeds, right? If you're doing flax seeds, you want to opt for whole and then crush right before eating. You want to keep them in the fridge as well because the fats in those could oxidize. Chia seeds, walnuts, eggs, right? Pasture raised eggs. Make sure you're getting true pasture raised eggs, not Vital Farms. Unfortunately, the reality is modern life, it presents us with threats to your microbiome. And some of these major destroyers are things like antibiotics. I am a full believer in antibiotics, and they absolutely are sometimes necessary, but they actually wipe out both good and bad bacteria. And if you continue to use these over time, we create this generation of depleted gut bacteria, right? So use them when you need them, not every time you're sick. 2, poor diet, specifically the refined sugars and the processed carbs, right? Gluten, this is known, right? Everybody's about gluten-free, but like especially this modern hybridized wheat that is really just, it was really just bred to be able to be mass produced at a high rate and have high gluten in it. Excessive grain consumption can also start to deplete. It breaks down the barrier wall of the stomach, and it's also riddled with a lot of chemicals. So that's why it's really with grains, it's you have to use them targeted. If you're going to eat grains, you got to eat the right types, and you have to use them in limited quantities. And I would argue that if you're going to eat grains, it should be real sourdough that's fermented over weeks, not days. Other things is processed seed oils, right? You want to remove a lot of this because the omega-6, these are highly inflammatory. Certain medications are no good too. So think of like the ibuprofens, the aspirins, Tylenol, birth control pills, antacids, any kind of steroid drugs, no good. They wreak havoc on this chronic stress. So think about stress as not in terms of things that are good, like micro stressor events, which I could do a different video on that, but like bad stress, like things like a bad relationship or a job that you absolutely hate that you continue to show up to. These can directly impact your gut bacteria, and they can lead to leaky gut because there's these stress endocrine that starts to happen in your system, right? Which puts chronic stress on your digestive system. 5 is toxins, right? So think of like pesticides and non-organic foods. I just talked about that with grains. Most grains are sprayed with chemicals, right? So this is, you want to try to remove these from your diet. Last thing could be like alcohol or smoking or vaping. These things are just introducing toxins into your body that your body has to process. And the last thing, which is an interesting one, there's a lot of like studies out on this. And also some of the statements that I just made, there's a lot of studies out to back some of those things up too, and I'll try to put some of those in the bottom of the video. But the birth factors, like being born as via a C-section versus coming through the canal, right? And it's wild that if you come via C-section, or you say you have a mom that has not a lot of beneficial bacteria, you actually start life with a disadvantage. And the result of all of these things will actually lead to a leaky gut, which is a condition where your intestinal barrier becomes compromised. And what it does is it allows undigested food particles and toxins into your bloodstream, triggering inflammation and the immune response. So you got to understand that your digestive tract, if you laid it out, it's the size of a tennis court and it's one cell thick, right? So you want that's the first line of defense. Your immune system is lined up all around that tennis court, if you will, if you were to lay it out. And so you want that first barrier strong as possible. And here's the good news. You can actually heal your gut wall. And from a functional health perspective, here's some of the most powerful foods and nutrients to help repair the gut. The first thing, and this is like my healing protocol here, it's like you could use bone broth, collagen. They help significantly. So they're rich in amino acids. They literally help seal the gut lining. It provides things like glycine and glutamine to help repair. You drink 1 cup of it, 2 cups of it daily. L-glutamine, you can actually supplement this if you want. Like I take a glutamine supplement every day. It's primary fuel for the intestinal cells, and it helps restore the gut barrier integrity. It's found in bone broth too, by the way, but like you can supplement this as well. Fermented foods I just mentioned earlier, right? So like think of the yogurts, the kefirs of the world, the sauerkrauts of the world. And if you've never eaten them before, I would recommend eating them slowly and consistently. Start with small amounts and build it up, because if you just indulge yourself with a ton of fermented food, it could probably it's going to give you a stomach ache. Freshly ground flaxseed. Again, like I said, freshly ground. You want a whole seed, get it like a little spice grinder, grind it up, and then eat it, right? Don't buy it ground in the store. And also when you're storing it, store it in a glass jar in the fridge, whole flaxseed. But this provides soluble fiber, and it binds toxins, supports elimination. You can add it to smoothies, you can put it on food, whatever. I also like aloe vera juice, right? It soothes inflammation, supports healing. 2 to 4 ounces daily is a good number. Anti-inflammatory foods, I talked about these before, but like omega-3 fatty acids, right? So this is the flax seeds, the wild caught fish, the chia seeds, colorful vegetables, especially the cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous families, things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Turmeric is really good, right? As it helps, and you take it with a little bit of black pepper if you're adding it to like a smoothie or something. You won't even taste it if you put turmeric in with a little bit of black pepper. You won't even taste any of them, but it'll help activate and set off the turmeric. Ginger, I mean, some people love ginger, some people hate ginger, but it's very good for you, very good for your gut. And then herbs like cilantro, parsley, bitter greens are very, very good. Vitamins and minerals, right? So vitamin A and D, right? So fermented cod oil could be good. Zinc, magnesium, these all support the immune function and help repair the gut barrier. And then if you're not getting probiotics from foods, which I always say, try to get it from foods first. If you can't get it from foods, then you can start to supplement a high quality probiotic. But you want to look for really diverse strains, because again, you want to have that diversity in your gut. And things to avoid while trying to heal your gut is stay away from sugar, gluten, even dairy, and any personal food sensitivities. Remember, I believe that everybody has this bio individuality, right? So if you know that you're allergic to something, then don't eat it. Stay away from processed foods, stay away from alcohol and caffeine in large amounts, right? And Tylenol, all those kinds of things just that really just destroy the the gut wall, Advil as well. And so this is the thing that I was just saying that makes functional health a little bit different. Like we understand individuality. So what works for one person may not work for the other. And that's why functional health practitioners, we try to encourage our patients to look at, like, when you eat something, how do you feel and what does your poop look like? As crazy as that sounds, you start to get in tune with your body by understanding those things. Consider like all of the individual food sensitivities that you have. We always believe in backing it up. It starts with the digestive function. So we want to work on the root causes of things. And so those are just some of the thought processes that, like, as a functional nutrition practitioner, those are the things you kind of look for. But I want you to remember that healing your gut, it's not just about being perfect, right? It's about just overall, it's reducing inflammatory foods, incorporating healing foods consistently, managing your stress, chewing your food well, and doing this consistently, right? There's a concept called PYF, or pay yourself first, in finance, which means you take a small amount of money and you continue to put it away in accounts that grow over time. And if you do it consistently over a long period of time, you will have amassed a large amount of money. And that is true with health, right? So start with small steps each day, layer these things in. Don't boil the ocean and do everything in one day. Just do little things over time. And when you look back and you create these small habits, you will amass good health, because these things will be layered in over time and it won't be overwhelming. You got to remember that your microbiome is your partner in health. You got to feed it with fiber, fermented foods, and anti-inflammatory whole foods. You got to protect it from unnecessary antibiotics, any processed foods, any chronic stress, and you got to really give it the healing nutrients it needs, right? So remember things like bone broth, L-glutamine, plenty of colorful vegetables, right? And overall, I'll just close with, like, when you care for your microbiome, you're caring for your entire body, right? After all, again, in functional health, all health and disease begins in the gut. So again, I'll close with, download my free A2 protein recipe. Start paying yourself first today. If you like what you hear here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I want you to start with small steps that lead to massive change, right? And start today. Don't wait till tomorrow, all right? I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.